Okay, we're going to call to order the regular city council meeting, Monday, February 13th, 7 p.m. Roll call.
David Paradise.
Kirby Moyna.
Sam Solars.
Michelle Otto.
Jessica Bonniwell.
Jared Vogie.
Dan Reamer.
Michael Sommerfeld.
And then Councilmember Andrioff is out due to the stomach flu. Invocation? No invocation? Okay. I'll ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance then. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda.
Mayor and Council, we need to add one item under reports and recommendations under the Fire Department, item B. It'll be new item number 4. There's a new firefighter. Nicholas Mondragon, effective 2/3/23. That'll move everything else below that down one.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve agenda with the addition to section B, number 4.
I will second.
Further discussion? Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Approval of the consent agenda.
Mayor, I have a question on the community ed, or recommendation, I should say. You have Michael on there right now. And I've been going to these meetings, and I talked to Michael about if he wanted to continue to go or have me go. He's okay without me going, because he's not as familiar with community ed, so looking for any input from you.
I'm fine with making that change.
Okay.
Do we need to pull it off the consent? Do we need to pull it off the consent to approve that change?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay.
Okay, with that change to the mayoral appointments, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 4-0. Wright County Sheriff's Office.
If there's any questions, I can try to see them. From what I was told, a pretty normal month for the month of January.
Is there any questions on the Wright County Sheriff's? No? Wright County Commissioner.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Mike Ketchmark, Wright County Commissioner, District 5. Just thought I'd take tonight a few minutes at the beginning of the year here to give updates on some of the things going on at Wright County. We had a new board, the majority. We got 3 new commissioners that started the first of the year. And with that, we also voted to change the meeting schedule for county board meetings. They are going to be the first and third Tuesdays at 9 a.m. in the Government Center boardroom in Buffalo. Anybody can show up and watch those, or they can be watched on YouTube live or at a later date. We had about 67 committees and boards that we divided up amongst 5 of us that day. Some of the ones that I'm on, are the Emergency Services Board, the Economic Development Authority, Highway 12 Coalition, the Ditch Committee, sorted other ones. But the 5th District has 8 townships and 5 cities in it, so that keeps me busy just trying to make one of them per month, and then some meet on the same night, so it's a lot of schedule juggling to get there. A couple things people might be interested also, that Health and Human Services building, also called the old Pomida building in Buffalo. We've been trying to sell that. We were in the process of a purchase agreement. That didn't work. This latest one is by Riverside Church. We're in an agreement with them to purchase the property as is, where is, for $1.6 million, which I think is a good deal. If that works out, I hope it does. The old government center downtown is still for sale. We're still trying to get more interest in that property, which is 6.3 acres, but there's a lot there. There's a parking lot. The property's divided by a street. There's a lot of hopes, dreams, and plans that I've heard about in the last over a year with it. I hope it works out for the best. It's a training opportunity for some fire departments and law enforcement agencies that continue to use it. But along with that, the costs to maintain the building at just the minimum is about $10,000 a month. So the sooner we can get rid of that, the better for everybody also. Just some other numbers just to give you an idea of what we're managing as a county. So we got a $170 million budget, of which $60 million is payroll. Somebody did ask that question the other day, so I had got the answer, but just kind of puts things in perspective. If you think you have a lot to juggle in Montrose here with payroll and budget, there's a lot out there, but we got other projects we're working on, but if anyone wants to talk with me, my number is 763-682-7685. The county paper for the next 3 years is the Delno Journal. If you like that reading on fine print for public meeting minutes and all those things, that's why it moved from Howard Lake to Delno now for the next 3 years. Anyone have any questions?
Was there any discussion about the possibility of moving your meeting time to better accommodate people who might work?
There was, Mr. Mayor. As your commissioner, I brought it up for the 3rd year in a row. And again, same result. There's a lack of interest from the rest of the board. For one reason or another they give. But I'll continue to bring it up, but one guy can't, change anything up there. But I do recognize that, and that's all I can do on that part. So the rest is you funnel the information to me, you send a representative there during the day that can go. And we do have some cities that send administrators and other staff to meetings. Or you watch it later if you want to keep up with it, but to actually be an active participant, you have to be there, and there just isn't the support for it with the current board. But they said if there's a real pressing issue that they figure is going to draw a lot of attention, I don't know what that is going to be, but that they would look at that for a night meeting. But what they brought up in the past is it's the overtime and the IT staff to keep things going. But when you look around the room, most of the folks are salary that I pointed out, so it's really not an overtime situation at that point. But I think the benefit for the public to have access to it would outweigh that. But on the other side, a planning and zoning meeting is still at 7 o'clock at night, and they still maintain that. There's one commissioner on that. But, well, it's a good question. I'll continue to carry the torch for it, Mr. Mayor.
Appreciate that. The other one too is a little more on the joking side of things, but how many people do you talk to that you say the old Pomina building and they have no idea what you're talking about?
Well, that's why I cover the bases with either, depending on how old you are, you call it Pomida or the old HHS, or it still says Wright County Human Services on it. But I go back to when it was a Pomida building and I was working as a cop in Buffalo, and I had a kid 9 years old that drove a car from Monticello with some buddies and was shoplifting from the store. It was an active Pomida store at that time. But things have changed. But so I try and identify it. I could also say the Commercial Drive property, and some people might identify with that. But they made a good case. There was a public hearing with the church. The room was full. Nobody spoke against selling it to the church. There's been, for those that have followed that part of town for a while, there's been a lot of businesses that have come and gone over the years from there. It's like one tier back from Highway 55 and 25, you kind of need another reason to go back there. And they're thinking that their church crowd will go there and then patronize the local businesses before their services. So I think it's a good thing. It wasn't producing any property tax for a long time, almost 30 years. So yes, the church isn't going to pay tax either, but we're looking at the benefit to what they can bring to town. And the other deal didn't work out with the business. And in these times, people just aren't moving with new business initiatives and the housing. You all know how that's going. So I hope this goes through, and we had a lot of support for it. Anything else from anybody? I hate to turn my back on constituents here, but I'll know next time to maybe spin this around. Okay, thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. City Council.
At EDA, U of M extension through Wright County EDP, the fire department meeting, Park and Rec, and City Council go meeting.
City Council, EDA workshop, the Park and Rec joint meeting, the fire department dinner, and that's it.
Council workshop, special workshop, joint with Parks and Rec.
Council, joint council, community ed, and at that meeting, we got the update on our open gym. So we've been doing open gym since 2016 is when I started that, and then we are at now about 250 participants that attend open gym. So those numbers were given. Community ed will be bringing T-ball back, which is good to hear now that the road construction is done, and they'll get a hold of Dan with the schedule for that. And Dan, I'm sure will share that with Coco and his guys. And then I did the Celebrate Montrose. We have the fish fry coming up, along with working with the Ugly Bar. And they'll be partnering with us for a beanbag tournament. So, and then the chamber meeting, where I'm working on getting more involvement in the chamber. Maybe doing monthly get-togethers, happy hours, or whatever, so.
Good, yeah, I know that's been an issue for a number of years to get them to kind of come together and just talk, but. Fire department.
Good evening, council and mayor. First item in your packet is the January 2023 activity report. Just a couple of things to mention in there. Relatively busy month for us with 31 total calls. Our office remodel project is completed and we're fully moved back into our office now. Some acknowledgements with that. Joel Grave. Wait, raise your hand. Say hi. He was kind of our point guy on that. He has a lot of trade experience and stuff. Without him, I'd still be probably fixing holes that I created in the walls. So huge shout out to Joel for being the point man for that, and then all the firefighters who helped out with that. So it's a great thing. If you guys haven't seen it, come on over and take a look. So with that, next item is to authorize burning of a structure 230 3rd Street South to take place on March 18th, 2023. So I'm looking for your guys' authorization to burn a structure within the city limits for training purposes.
I'll make a motion to authorize the burning of a structure at 230 3rd Street South on 3/18/23.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Zotto?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
So to go with that, authorize the excavation, cleanup, and haul away of the debris from the structure burn. I have yet to get the specifics on it. It will be cheaper than actually having it tore down and hauled away. We'll probably end up using Ward. I'm guessing more than likely. It sounds like he's interested, so I just have to get a hold of him after we got through this stuff. So that will be paid for out of the city budget. We're taking care of all the training expenses and our standby coverage and stuff like that. So looking just for authorization for that.
Any idea what that would cost?
No clue yet.
well, we had to clean it up afterwards, so. I'll make a motion to authorize the excavation, cleanup, and haul away of debris from the structure burn.
I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars? Aye. Zato?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next item was the item that was added to the agenda, accept a new firefighter, Nicholas Mondragon, effective February 3rd, 2023. Looking for a motion to accept him on.
I'll make a motion to accept Nicholas Mondragon to the fire department.
I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next item, our Relief Association dinner recap. So we held our dinner on the 4th of February, a couple of Saturdays ago here now. We served a total of 443 dinners plus 54 kids meals, a record for us. Great attendance. Thank you for everybody who came and partook. We did great with the gun raffle, the silent auction, and everything else. Overall, just a very successful event for us and the Relief Association. So a huge thank you to everybody who participated in that in one form or another. So with that, that night we also did a bunch of awards and some recognitions. So I'd like to recognize formally tonight the 2022 top responders. These are people who were recognized for responding over 60% of all the calls through 2022. Those were Willie Bauerschmidt, Diane Holman, Mike Marketon, David Paradise, Kelly Stoll, Joseph Tice, and Joseph Von Thoma. We also recognize the 2022 Firefighter of the Year. This firefighter is picked by their peers. We have a selection committee. They select people, take nominations, and this year, the 2022 Firefighter of the Year was Steve Mortensen. Congratulations to him. He's just an all-around reliable firefighter. When he's around, he's here. Doesn't matter what time of day it is or anything like that. So, well deserved for him to get that. So. Can we give those ones a round of applause first?
I was waiting for one of your guys to start the applause, but.
Next, before we go on, just an item of business that needs to get taken care of before I speak any further to this. I need a motion to accept Willie Bauerschmidt's retirement from the Montrose Fire Department effective February the 7th, 2023, for a total of 51 years and 1 day of service. You have to. You kind of have to. So.
One person can vote no, right? I will reluctantly make a motion to accept Willie Bauerschmidt's retirement effective 2/7/2023 after 51 years and 1 day of service on the fire department.
I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
I'm free.
Willie,
You
why don't
were
come
gonna
on
vote
up
no.
here?
No.
So I'm going to make this a little bit shorter than my Saturday presentation that we did at the relief dinner. That was video recorded, and I'm going to get that up on Facebook here once I'm able to sit down and get that stuff taken care of. But just to kind of recap some of the higher points. So Willie joined on February 5th, 1972. That was his official start date. His official end date was February 7th, 2023, 51 years and 1 day of service. A lot of people ask why I always try to tack on that one extra day, just in case. So, yes, and he brought it up. So 1970s, the population in Montrose was 379. Back then, they had probably close to 20 to 30 firefighters, I'm guessing. So they had almost 10% of the population on the fire department. Today, we struggle to get about 1/6%. So things have changed drastically. Gasoline back then was 36 cents a gallon. Milk was 89 cents a gallon, and a dozen eggs cost 60 cents. Willie served under 7 different fire chiefs. He served as the fire chief in 1988. He was the assistant fire chief for several years, and he held various other roles in the fire department and the Relief Association throughout those many years. Since 2008, which is when modern reporting started taking place, where I can go and actually pull stuff up on a computer, he responded to 2,367 calls for service. Prior to that, so from 1972 till 2008, it's hard to really tell. They weren't really keeping the greatest of records back then. But if I had to guess, it's well over 5,000 calls that he actually responded to. Thousands upon thousands of hours of training, doing different events, helping the community, impacting thousands upon thousands of lives, including firefighters who have came and gone. He's been a staple around the fire service since I was about knee height when my father joined in 1988. I remember him like he was a grandpa at that point, and still kind of look at him to a grandpa today almost. So.
Burnt his house down, so we made him join the fire
Yes,
department.
yes. And then of other special mention is Willie's family. Joan is here tonight, I know for sure. The sacrifice that our families put in for us being on the fire department is, I don't even know how to explain it because I've never been in that role. But dealing with us being gone all hours of the day, all hours of the night, every Tuesday for years on end.
Or supper.
Yeah, supper, running out. The family needs special mention whenever this happens, especially for somebody who's served over half of a century. So on the February 4th dinner, we presented this plaque to Willie. And then we also presented him his fire helmet at our meeting on Tuesday, last Tuesday, along with some cake and everything like that. So, Willie, congratulations on 51 years of active service with the fire department. He never once let up during those years. No leave of absence. He was just always here, constantly. So, with that, I think Willie deserves a huge round of applause. And I've recently heard that he dislikes free time so much that he's already joined the Montrose Lions.
Well, I see you've got hiring firefighters, maybe we're supposed to be applying.
Hey, more power to you. So with that, the city thought it prudent to do a proclamation, I believe. Would you like me to read it, or do you want to read it, Mayor?
Whichever you would prefer. Can you make it
Go
through
ahead.
it?
I've talked enough about Willie over the last few days. So.
Here's a proclamation honoring firefighter Wilbert Willie Bauernschmidt for 51 years of service to the city of Montrose and its residents. Whereas Wilbert Bauernschmidt, here within referred to as Willie, began serving the residents of the city of Montrose and the surrounding communities as a volunteer firefighter in 1972 as a member of the Montrose Volunteer Fire Department. Willie has dedicated his life to fire service and the protection of life and property from loss by fire and other emergency situations. Willie is one of the longest tenured members of the Montrose Fire Department, providing 51 years of distinguished service to the community as a volunteer firefighter. Willie has served in many positions within the department, including holding the position of firefighter, assistant fire chief, and fire chief. Willie has responded to well over 5,000 calls during his tenure as a firefighter, thereby providing an enormous benefit to the city of Montrose and its residents. Willie has always responded with commitment, dedication, and compassion. During Willie's half-century of exemplary service, he has demonstrated the highest standards of ethics and values. Willie's dedication, devotion, and volunteerism are shining examples of community service and service to others. The City Council of the City of Montrose believe and find that it is in the best interest of the city, its residents, and the residents of the surrounding communities to recognize, honor, and thank Willie Bauernschmidt for his 51 years of service. Now there it be proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Montrose, along with its residents and the residents of the surrounding communities, express great appreciation, admiration, and gratitude for firefighter Willie Bauernschmidt for his 51 years of dedication to the community as a volunteer firefighter, and thank him for his tireless service. Therefore, be it proclaimed that in recognition of his half-century of service, February 13th, 2023 shall be and is Willie Bauernschmidt Day in the City of Montrose.
Thank you. I just want to thank the community that I served in and all the townships we served. And to thank you for the Lions for support and VFW and other donations and to give us the top-notch equipment to get the job done. Thank you.
Can we take a break?
Okay, EDA.
Don't know how to follow that one up. Let's see, going through, we met on January 17th. One member of old business is, we are removing, Mr. Kirkpatrick from the EDA for lack of attendance. So that was first agenda. Second is the, remaining members, nominated myself and put me in as president of EDA. And then we discussed basically goals for the upcoming year, looking at short-term, medium goals, long-term, what it is we want to accomplish, you know, adding that fifth member. So more to come. I think we're all excited about what we're going to try to accomplish and get things moving month by month.
Do we need a motion for,
No.
Okay.
They approve their own minutes.
okay, just wanted to make sure. Any questions on EDA? Planning and zoning.
Mr. Mayor, Council, on January 11th, we had the monthly planning and zoning meeting. We approved the officers' appointment recommendations. I was elected chair 301. Roger Frauman for vice chair and Sylvia Henry both at 4 unanimous votes. And Mr. Stephen Gritman did a recap of 2022 with our achievements and a little synopsis of what's to come for this year. Any questions?
We're just gonna need a motion to approve the officer appointments for the chair, vice chair, and secretary recommendations for planning and zoning.
You want them individually, correct?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve Chuck Smallwood as the chairperson for planning and zoning.
Second. Further discussion? Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Solars? Aye. I'll vote aye. Motion passes 4-0. I'll make a motion to approve Roger Frauman as vice chair.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 4-0.
I'll make a motion to approve Secretary Sylvia Henry.
I will second.
Further discussion? Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations to you three. Park and Rec.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm standing in for Dwayne since he couldn't be here tonight. Our meeting, January 12th, we're still working on our trail plan, which we discussed in the joint meeting as well. Hoping to finalize that in the next couple of months before it starts getting nice out. We also swore in our newest commissioner, Mr. Swanson, at the January 12th meeting. We voted to extend our commissioner assignments through this year since we kind of just had gotten started in those roles. I don't know if we need to vote on that, but we did. Let's see, the only other things we have, we did a little bit of discussion about the regional park in our joint meeting as well, and the Parks and Rec Board has advised that the grant with the park shelter, it does not proceed, and we'll begin to work on a new park plan for that park. We did talk about getting some bids for some prairie planting out there, so we're going to work on that now up until our next meeting and get some numbers on that and see what we can do out there. We do have a couple of swing sets also that we got donated from the Lions, so we'd like to ask for approval of funding to have those installed. We got a bid for doing the curbing and all the site prep and the wood chips. That was for $11,915, so we'd like to get approval for that so we can get that scheduled for spring. And then we also scheduled the Easter egg hunt for April 8th at 10 a.m. here at the community center. And I think besides that, I just have our awards for the holiday decorating contest. Hopefully, Mayor, you can help me present those.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have those here to accept their awards. The LaBelle family, the Olson family, and the Monahan family.
Well, the shelter.
Do you want to come up front?
Grab my phone. All their appointments. No, because they've done like, they're just keeping them.
All right, so for third place, that's for John and Janice Monahan. That's you.
Thank you.
Second place, on Mindy Lane, Sharon Olson. Sharon here? Sharon's not here to accept, so we can get that to her. And for first place on Fitch Court, Matt and Tabitha LaBelle. Congratulations, thank you.
Do you want this or do you want?
Oh, yeah, I can take it.
Kayla, what was the dollar amount on the swing set?
It is, let me find it in my papers here.
11,915 something.
11,915 was the total, including all of the prep, the concrete work, and the wood chips.
Okay,
And we would need a motion.
We need a motion.
To approve that amount.
I'll make the motion then to approve the 11,915 for the swing set installation.
Where are they going?
Oh, they are going in, we had decided, we haven't chosen the exact spot at the parks, but they will be at Lent Park and then replacing one of the swing sets at Veterans Park.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Lions Park.
At Lent.
Lent.
No, not Veterans, Lions.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, I have it written wrong. Replacing at Lions and then new at Lent.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Further discussion on that? I'll vote aye. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0 to install the new swing sets.
Kayla? Did you want approval for the Easter egg baskets?
Oh, do I have to ask? I can ask for that.
Do we,
were
or were
hoping-
they already,
Well,
didn't we?
the park commission talked about getting a basket for each age level, like
Doing kind of a
golden
prize
kind of
egg.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if we want to, we didn't decide on a number for it. Do we need to decide on a number? To ask for that?
To $200.
What did it say, $200?
Up to 200? Yeah, that would work.
I'll make a motion then to approve up to $200 for Easter baskets for their Easter egg hunt.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you.
Let me know when you're stuffing the eggs, because I'll take a tub home.
Oh, I'll have some for you.
I think they.
I do it during the NCAA tournament, so it doesn't bother me.
It's the next park meeting, March,
When they're stuffing them or when they're handing them out?
when they're stuffing them.
Well, I'll just pick a bin up. So then we also will need a motion to direct Jared to inform the DNR will not be accepting the grant, correct?
Yes. I'll make a motion to let Jared know, or is it to forego the grant?
I will second.
Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion passes 4-0 to forego the grant. Anything else for Park and Rec? City Engineer?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The memo enclosed in your packet this evening is related to the wastewater treatment facility plan that's currently being prepared. As you recall, the facility plan is the document that identifies potential improvements to bring the wastewater treatment facility into compliance with the MPCA's permit. Another goal of the facility plan is to qualify for funding through the Minnesota Public Facilities Authority. One of those requirements associated with the facility plan is that a public hearing be held, and we are recommending that that public hearing be held at the April 10th, 2023 City Council meeting, and there is a resolution enclosed in your packet for consideration this evening. With that, Mayor, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
This public hearing would be to inform the residents of what our plans are going forward and how much it'll cost. Is that correct?
That is correct. So as part of the public hearing, the alternatives studied as part of the facility plan will be discussed. There will be costs associated with each of those alternatives as well that will be provided at that meeting.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-03, a resolution calling for a public hearing on the wastewater treatment plant facility plan.
I'll second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Any other updates?
I guess the only other update I would have for council is the water study is also moving forward, so look for that in the next couple of months. So that's all I had this evening.
Is there any questions for Jared? One thing that just came to mind, so they're gonna start on First Street North as soon as the frost is out of the ground then, right? We're the kind of the first on the docket?
Yeah, that's correct. They're, both contracts, north and south, will start as soon as weather permits here. Frost gets out of the ground and things dry up a little bit, so.
Okay.
We are first on the list, yes.
And then before that happens, can we, when they give us a date for when they're gonna start, can we just send out like a letter to any of the residents that'll be affected, maybe a couple weeks beforehand?
Would you like to notify them individually at their residence or continue to use the website that we've utilized throughout construction?
I think sending a letter to the affected homes would be a good idea, just my opinion, but.
I agree.
Okay, will do.
Thanks, Jared.
You bet.
Thanks, Jared.
Public Works,
Mayor, council, on page 47, 48, I was advised to kind of come up with some kind of a number that Public Works estimates it would cost us to mow the parks that we hired Muddy Feet Lawn Service to mow last year. As you know, the prior director had this kind of in motion with Muddy Feet last year as I stepped in April. And Muddy Feet came back to extend his contract, and I was advised to kind of put some numbers together for the public works side of things. And after sitting down with my crew, and kind of going over things, if you look at page 47, roughly, I just bid the parks that he bid, and with the hours, the fuel use and depreciation, kind of off the hours of the mowers. I'm recommending that we hire summer help to do this. So that's kind of the second part of this plan. Summer help at $20 an hour at one person. We're mowing these parks at, I think, city cost of about $677. Also with summer help, when the lawn does not need to be mowed, we can have them doing other things. And no offense to Muddy Feet Lawn Service, he did what he was hired to do, and he did a great job doing it. Fiscally responsibly wise, I don't think hiring out our mowing services, in my opinion, makes sense. But you guys approved his services last year, so I'm bringing it to council for you guys to make a decision on which way you would want to go with this.
would you only wanna hire one summer help person or two?
I want to hire two.
Okay,
I'm also increasing that, asking hiring up to $20 an hour. I recently drove through a McDonald's and they're hiring at 19, so to get some quality workers in here, and they got to be over the age of 18. So that's kind of the second part of my thing. It was really great last year with Muddy Feet taking over those parks and our construction jobs here and stuff like that, but moving forward, I think going back to summer help, and I don't have a crystal ball. Hopefully we don't have summer helpers that quit and we get enough applications. That's why I'm bringing it to the council meeting now. I'd like to get it in the paper as soon as possible. I'm sure you guys had time to look over this, and I guess I would like a motion on which way you want Public Works to go with these parks.
Is there what if we don't get anyone?
what's the plan B?
Yeah, what's the?
Well, you can
backup
take
plan
this
there?
estimation and jump it up, because obviously the guys that will be mowing it will be making more per hour, right? Will it hinder us? Yeah, I'm sure it will. But depends upon what kind of summer it is too, right? So if it's a dry summer, we won't be mowing every week. If it's a wet summer, we'll be mowing weekly, if not twice a week. It all depends. I've been here 20 years. There's summers we've had 3 summer helpers. There's summers we've had 0. I mean, it all depends upon, let's be honest, the workforce out there right now. So I don't have a crystal ball answer for that. Hopefully things settle down. There ain't much of these 2 construction projects this summer that we gotta really focus on. So.
We do have a third guy now too, right, just in case?
Well, we do. I mean, that's coming up in this public works part, but yeah. We hired an additional employee last year, that I think the city's needed for a while, but, obviously I'd rather have those guys doing important stuff than mowing and weed whipping, you know, but if that's the case, that's what I gotta do with them.
I think that for what was asked of Muddy Feet last year and what was in the contract, that he fulfilled it, did a good job, but I think that if we're gonna have road construction again going on this year and, you know, other potential projects, if they come up, I think we're gonna need to have the extra help just in case to be able to use whoever's mowing to be able to help out within Public Works with stuff that you need done. So, I think that we should hire 2 summer help employees.
Well, I think I first need a motion from you guys on whether you wanna go with Muddy Feet, and Muddy Feet's here if he wants to stand up and ask, or you got any questions for him. But I need a motion on which way you're going, and then I'm gonna need a motion on you guys allowing me to hire summer help.
I'll make a motion to, allow Public Works to have their guys, mow and with an additional 2 people for summer help. Does that work for you? Okay.
Kinda need it separated.
Okay, so I'll make a motion then to forego Muddy Feet, for summer of 2023.
Second. Further discussion.
But I do have obviously some concerns about getting seasonal help. I mean, I know how tough it is, even at the $20 an hour. I mean, I would kind of like to see some kind of what-if scenario. I mean,
What's the plan B?
yeah, what is the plan B here? Because obviously, if we don't get 2, say we get 1, he decides 2 weeks into it, it's not for him. You know, I don't want to be pulling, you know, our workers off of other projects just to be cutting grass. So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I would like to see some kind of backup as a just in case.
I guess that's an option, you'd have to ask him. His bid was for the entire season, so, what's 28 weeks? If he's willing to come in and mow a week at a time when we need him, I guess we didn't really talk about that, but
Have you talked to your guys at all, Dan, as to if they're, you know, with the road construction, and if you don't get to summer help?
oh, we've talked about it, and the always talk is, they're all willing to mow.
Yeah.
They're not willing to weed whip. So,
Okay.
it's been a non-predictive thing every summer since I've worked here. That's just the way it goes. I mean, we had 2 great summers with, Billy Babbitts. We all know him, right? I mean, we didn't have to tell him anything. He just came in, mowed and left, went home. He knew what to do. And he, at 60 to 70 years old, even grabbed weed whips when it was 90 degrees out. Now, we have 18-year-olds that walk off the job. So,
What about the gentleman that did the, compost?
I can ask him if he wants to mow, but I'm assuming he wants to mow and not weed whip. That's my assumption. But I can get mowers all day long. I can find people to mow. It's the other things, right?
Yeah, picking weeds, weed whipping.
Painting, hydrant painting, doing stuff that when there ain't grass growing, there's other things that need to be done. Picking up brush, picking up garbage, you know.
Do we put it back out there and kind of push that adopt a park? You know, for pulling weeds in the parks, you know, whatever?
Well, you can. I mean, I'm assuming the park board would bring that to a council meeting, but in past experiences, the adopted park didn't really, a few people did great jobs, and I'm not pointing out, and a few didn't do anything, so I would just kind of leave it, in my opinion, adopt the park to the side. If they want to adopt it, that's fine, but we still got, Public Works still has to do work on it, so.
And we're all good as far as equipment goes?
We can get through this summer with the equipment we have, correct. I will be coming to a council meeting asking to upgrade one of our mowers. We have a mower currently that we bought used and spends more time broken down than it does mowing grass. We currently got an offer on a trade-in for it. The only offer we've gotten so far. And, I'm not saying it's a lemon, but it was a lemon. And we're looking just to get away from that style of mower and upgrade to a different one, and that will be coming into the next council meeting or after. Just a heads up, they're not cheap. But we bought this mower in 2000, what did I say this morning, 16? Used for 17. And they're offering us 8 for a trade-in on it, so we've had it that many years. So I think it's great, but that's next council meeting. Yes, we can get through the summer with the equipment we have. If that's, everything breaks down though, don't get me wrong, so.
Is there any other discussion on that motion? Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, so that was to hire the 2 employees, correct?
No, that was,
To do public works, right?
have Public Works do the mowing. I'll make a motion to approve the advertising and hiring of 2 summer help employees at $20 an hour.
I'll second.
Further discussion?
And the plan, Dan, is they're not just gonna be mowing, they're gonna be doing other work that.
Yeah,
needs to be
I
done.
mean, they'll be doing, if I can get them to work 40 hours a week, I'm gonna get them to work 40 hours a week.
Okay.
And they'll be doing other things. Rain days, painting, inside stuff. There's always something in the summer, trust me.
Can you advertise in the 4 local high schools that are within 9 miles, 12 miles, I guess, Buffalo, of here? And, you know, maybe if you have any contacts with any ag departments to throw it out to them, because
I
they
could try
might.
to look out, but mind you, they gotta be 18,
Yep,
right? So, I could look into that, Mr. Mayor, not a problem.
any other discussion on the motion? I'll vote,
Go
ahead.
I wasn't done yet.
okay.
Would it be possible to at least have a discussion with Muddy Feet in case we do need to pivot?
I mean, I guess you could call him up and ask him right now whether he's willing to do a week at a time here and there if we need him. And you guys would have to approve that at his weekly rate on his bid here.
That would be at a rate of $2,677.54.
If he mows every park that week, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, that's understood, but if we don't have anyone who could do it, I mean, I would like to just at least have a backup. I mean,
I'm not fully against that,
okay,
but
Right, and I'm not saying let's, go with muddy feet right now. I'm just saying, if something does happen, which
Right.
we all know is a definite possibility, if we had some sort of backup plan. That's all I'm asking for.
Well, he is here right now. I mean, is he
you
even
want-
interested in,
Yeah.
in doing that? I mean, that's.
Do you want
something
that
that's-
discussion now or after the motion?
So we can finish the motion and go from there.
I mean, that could affect it, I guess, but.
That's fine.
Tim, do you want to come up to the podium? I know we're probably the last people you want to talk to, right, at this
Oh, I love you
particular
guys.
second, but.
What can I answer for you?
Do you think that would be, I mean, if we did need to pivot, something does happen where we hire people, they just decide not to show up,
The downside is not having that, I have to pivot also.
right,
So I have to find other things to fulfill that time
right,
and that money there for the overhead cost of the business. So we can talk about it later, or we can crunch some numbers and talk. Anything's possible.
But it would depend on your availability,
Right.
which is understandable as a business owner.
Right. Now, and I don't know if you guys saw both of them, but I sent Dan 3 different bids that, for a 1 year, 2 year, and a 3 year. And for a 2 year contract would be 5% discount, 3 year would be 10% discount. So just throwing that out there as well, as I don't see it up there, so.
No, I didn't, that's on me, I didn't include in the packet, because I would think every year I would have to get this approved. But just looking at the numbers, I personally didn't feel to bring in the other contracts into this. I think it'd be wise for the city to, if they start with a lawn service, to get this bid out every year by multiple lawn services. But, he was one of 4 bids last time, and he was the lowest, believe it or not. So, I mean, people might look at these numbers and go, oh, but it was one of the lowest bids we had, or the lowest. So,
And, as this is my community as well, so, I'm not trying to get rich or rape the citizens of Montrose, but I have to cover my cost. I have to make money. The business has to make money. Unfortunately, that's business.
So looking at your contract, it just says mowing. Does that not then include the weed whipping?
That's not a contract. That's just a
Well,
quote.
your estimate then, it says mowing. So that doesn't include weed whipping.
I was told to bid it on what was the basis of last year's contract.
So we would still need to find the guys to go out and mow, or, I'm sorry, weed whip.
and that's the way it was last year, yes.
It was
Right.
mowing and weed whipping
Yeah,
is what my contract was last year.
yes.
I know you had a confusion last year, and we had a conversation about the difference between
Yeah.
weed whipping and weeding. Weeding is when you're physically, by hand, pulling weeds out of beds.
Yep, and I had a confusion on how it was all,
Yeah,
I
and
wasn't
weed whip was
confused,
using a machine
but-
and going around edging and,
yeah, like around the skate park and around different things, so, yeah.
yeah, there was that one thing, the 300-pound picnic table.
Right.
So yes, to your question, that price there, it may say mowing weekly, but it includes the mowing and weed whipping.
Okay.
But if you guys approve it, Dan and I can have a side conversation about the what ifs. Play the what if game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do have to play the what-if game,
Absolutely.
because,
And
Especially without-
if I can say that, like Dan said, McDonald's is $19 an hour, mowing is $20 an hour. If you can find someone, that's $1. Kids
Right.
these days, they could go to McDonald's and still play on their phone and be in the air conditioning. Just saying.
Yep.
I mean, I went to Best for Montrose, so I mean, just wanted to put it out there.
Appreciate that. Anything else for Tim?
No, thank you for everything this past summer as well, for all the help.
Yes,
Thank you for the opportunity.
did a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there any further discussion of the motion on the floor to hire 2 summer help employees at $20 an hour? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Mayor, council, second thing I have for you is our newest hire quit Public Works last Thursday via text at lunchtime. I'm looking to fill his position back again. I need your approval for that. And that would also be going in as soon as possible in the papers.
What was the reason? Other job opportunity?
In a roundabout way, that's what he said. He's didn't see his future in Montrose,
Okay.
so.
I'll make a motion to authorize Dan to start advertising for an operator 1 position.
Second. Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I have no other updates at this time.
Are there questions for Dan?
We still good on salt?
We'll see what tomorrow brings, right?
Tomorrow brings a lot of rain.
Hopefully, a lot of rain.
Yeah, so what is the plan this summer for the compost site? I know we'd said we were gonna talk about it February, March. I just don't
My
know
plan
if
is that I think the guy out there did a great job last year, and he said when he handed in his keys that he's willing to come back. So that's what I was gonna look into and just keep it going as is, the way it was. If the council wants to move in any other direction, let me know.
You worked great last year.
Yeah, I mean, the only other direction we could look at moving would be putting in some sort of a key card type system, I guess.
Michelle did get some of those numbers to me a little while back. And I personally don't think it's gonna be, I wouldn't stick that kind of money into that compost site, but I mean, I could bring that to you guys. It's gonna need to have full electric installed to the gate, new pavement, programming, computer software. It's gonna be money. A lot more than you're paying this guy to sit there. If you want me to get those numbers together and bring it to you, I sure can.
I would just like to see them, I guess, just to kind of know and weigh it out.
And I don't know, Michelle, do you remember how long those bids were good for? I mean, you gave that to me like, what, 2 months ago?
Something like that. We can reach out to him again and
Yeah.
get an up-to-date.
The way I look at it is if you have a live person there and he's there, otherwise, the key card thing you're asking about, what's to say that you don't give your key card to somebody else and that person don't give his key card to somebody else?
I was just throwing out an idea of a solution.
Right.
I definitely do not want to go back to handing out actual city keys to people to hopefully bring back. But it was just another option that I know has been brought up, and I know
Right.
it's an expensive one.
I know.
It is.
With the quote, I believe that I got was also, cameras. So then you can see who's coming, who's going, and who's out there, so.
I'd like to see the quotes too. I think key cards provide their own special challenge. It's hard to keep track of where they go. Yeah, but I would like to see the quotes too.
Yeah, I can work with Michelle, probably get some updated ones. That's not a problem.
Any other questions for Dan? Old business? I mean, do you want me to summarize it, or?
Yeah,
you-
go ahead.
Okay. LGI has withdrawn their petition for the annexation of the property off of County Road 110. So they will no longer be looking into that as an option, at least for the time being. So, new business.
Mayor and council, the first item under new business is just an annual motion that we have to make for the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. We always do not waive the monetary limits on municipal tort liability, so that basically limits our liability if anything were to happen that the city would be liable for. So we just need a motion to not waive that.
Okay, I'll make a motion to not waive the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
I,
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Mayor and council, the second item under new business this evening is a quote from Palman Computers regarding a refurbished Windows 2019 server hardware and software and extended service for $6,066.
Is that, is that the going rate for a refurbished server?
So when I first got this quote, I was like, damn, it seems high. And I asked a couple of guys I work with, and they're like, yeah, that does seem high for something that's 6 years old. But then the further and further I looked into it, started pricing out refurbed, new ones. It actually comes in fairly decent price. Saw refurbs anywhere from 26 up to 10K. Brand new, you're looking at like 30. So I think it's a fair price.
And they're not going to charge us for getting rid of the old one?
Correct.
Okay. How badly do you need a new server?
They said it's a little concerning, so,
The one that we currently have?
yeah. It's very old and they're concerned about it, so.
Is there any idea when the last time we got a new server?
We got
or
a new server. Oh, gosh. Well, during the time I've been here, I think, but it was a different server. We have a few, so. And I think we paid a lot more for that. If you want to get quotes, if we want to look around, if we want to hold off, that's fine. They just offered this to us, otherwise they're going to offer it to another client.
In your IT opinion, should we take the offer or should we go out and try to find a better one and lose this one?
Again, the research that I did was anywhere between 2,500 to 10K, matching the specs here. We can certainly have the option to look for something else. But again, I think
Part of the cost is ongoing service and like same-day service with them as well, in case something happens.
I mean,
We have
I
a
know
need, we
the,
have a need, we have a company that has the item we need, and it's right in the mid-range of what you priced out, so.
and I know, I mean, you look at that, you're like, 6K. Sure, it's a big pill to swallow, but you just put in new firewalls at 30,000 a pop, so. Again, I think it falls in line with what else I saw, so, I mean, again, we can make the, the option to go and look for something else.
And their warranty, I take it, is through 2027? Is that what I'm reading correctly there? Is that the warranty on the bottom?
Yes.
I'll make a motion for the approval of $6,066 for new hardware server.
I will second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. How soon are they gonna install that?
I believe at any time after approval was given.
Okay.
So either at our next scheduled service, or we can have them come out special, but probably at the next scheduled service, which is the first Friday of each month.
Okay. Code enforcement discussion.
Mayor and council, this item was requested by a council member, so.
It was requested by me. In the last, few weeks in discussion with, Jess, she's getting a lot of phone calls, for code enforcement. She's going out and having to, take a look at different properties and so on. I know she just got another one today, because I got an email from a resident, that code enforcement is not moving along as quickly as the residents would like. So in talking with her, it's a lot of work. It's a lot for her to go out and take pictures and follow up and do everything that needs to be done. So we had discussed, looking at hiring a part-time person for, not only just code enforcement, but also to help her do filing and whatever needs to be done. And looking at a lot of what's going on is, she's getting a lot of responsibilities put onto her. So, it'd be nice to just take code enforcement and, get a part-time person.
I agree. I think that we should look at possibly going through a temp agency to do it. If we hire, because we would probably have to guarantee the person 20 hours. And if we guarantee them 20 hours, they are then in the union and have those protections as far as, firing and hiring and all of that. If we went through a temp agency, if it wasn't working, then we could, within 90 days, get rid of the person. No questions asked, no issues, and then move on to the next person until we find somebody who's suitable.
At what cost would a temp agency, do you think? I mean, I worked with a couple temp agencies the last few years. It's pretty spendy, very spendy. So, at 20 hours a week, they have to be in the union? That's for sure?
I believe so, because that's what it was in the past.
I don't think so.
We'll have to look into that, because I remember when we had Heidi, she was not in the union, and she was here for over a year, before she went to anywhere that was near full-time, and then she had to join the union. But yeah, we can start looking into possibilities for a part-time person.
Yeah, I mean, I did some calling around to several different cities, and they pretty much all have a part-time person who does their code enforcement generally from the spring through the fall, and then once they're a lot of other cities have 2 cleanup days, but once they get through the second one, a lot of times they, that person either goes back to college, which is what they usually get as a lot of college students. But that's pretty much what everybody I talked to did, is that they have a lot of part-time people that they hire to do that.
Okay, I'm gonna rephrase this then. If you're talking just through, the few months, I think this is like a permanent part-time person to help with all of the stuff that's going on, with the road construction that was going on last year, still going on this year. There's a lot on that end. So if we could just alleviate some of the duties.
Oh, I agree. I was just throwing an example that there's other cities that's how they handle it, so.
Yeah, this might be something we need to talk about at more of like a staff level and just try and figure out what would be best for the office, what would be best for staff. And yeah, if we're talking about like a permanent part-time person or somebody that would come like seasonal help. There are code enforcement issues in the winter. We're dealing with some right now. A lot of people, refuse to shovel, this and that, there's issues, so.
Yeah.
How many calls do you think you get on a weekly basis? How many calls? Just
Maybe
on
a
average.
handful, yeah, I mean, not a ton right now, usually it's more in the summer because it's lawn mowing, it's dogs, it's all sorts of stuff in the summer, depends on the day, depends on people's moods, so.
Fireworks. I think it would be beneficial to have an extra person up there to help out with filling in with some of the stuff that goes on and filing and.
I think we need to have a more in-depth discussion on this.
Yeah, and we can. I just, the one thing I would worry about too is that I wouldn't want them necessarily going out and driving around and looking for problems, because we may invite ourselves into potential issues, and that's
I would think there could
Well,
be some
one
potential
of the
issues.
sentiments that of the 8 or 9 cities that I called, that they all pretty much relayed, was that unless they had a police department that enforced their codes for them, they were running into people going, well, you're picking me because, Susie called me in for the 7th time in 2 weeks.
We deal with a lot of neighbor disputes. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes on, but I think, yeah, maybe having just a more in-depth conversation about what the city needs would be good.
As long as they're willing to weed whip.
Is that something that you would want to put on the March workshop agenda to go more in depth on that? Or is that too close to when you would want to take somebody on?
I think that'd be fine. I mean, we're holding it together with code enforcement right now. It's just, we are mostly complaint-based, but then you're driving around and you see things that are blatantly violating code, and it's hard to not, write them down and want to write them a letter as well, because they're 3 houses down from the person you got called about, so.
I mean, one of the things that I do have fear of, though, is us code enforcing people straight out of town.
Right.
You know.
So there's a balance there.
I think it would help too if we continue to look at chickens, to have somebody who could help out with some of the code enforcement stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I said it.
do not want to
I know,
attack chicken
I said it,
cages.
it's a swear word to some people, but I don't care, I brought it up, so. I can feel the planning and zoning chair just staring at me from the back row, so. And half the fire department. Is there anything else on code enforcement?
There's more discussion to be had later.
Okay. Open forum. We had one Kevin Johnson.
Mayor, City Council, my name's Kevin Johnson. I'm a local resident here. I was tasked to possibly think up ideas for a new Montrose Days idea, and we came up with a metal detecting challenge, I guess. So what we would need is, when Montrose Days, I'd need a field or a park in Montrose, pick 4 different parks, have it in one. So I'd get sponsors and then people to help, and we would dig in coins. So buy $1,000 worth of coins, silver coins, dig them into the ground and have just put flyers out. You know, there's going to be $1,000 of silver coins under the ground. You come with your metal detector, you pay X amount of dollars, and all the money that you pay goes to the Montrose Days or whatever the new name of the committee is. I'd like permission to flesh out the idea, permission to use a park. Ideally, there's one in mind that I'd like to use, but if you give that out, then, you know, the night before there could be guys, you know, looking around at the park. You know, it would have to be dug in the night before, and then, you know, like 10 till 4 in the afternoon, people would rove the park and look for coins, and as many coins as they could find. Well, that's, you know, they could come out with a couple $100 or big, you know, whatever they can scoop up. So
I think it sounds like a good idea, and I think that you guys should work with the Park and Rec on where they would recommend to do it, and then that'll go through Dan, and I think it sounds like a neat idea, so.
all right.
How would you put such items into the ground?
I don't know. You just have a little trowel. You dig them in. You're not, you know, it's just under the ground. You're just basically hiding them. Okay. So, and metal detector, I don't know, it can go down, you know, maybe 10, 12 inches, but something like that, you know, you don't want people, you know, bringing out backhoes and shovels because it's not going to be that deep. But.
We could use that though.
So I guess to proceed, I could call up people, get sponsors, talk with Park and Rec.
Yeah, when is,
see any issues?
yeah, their next meeting is March 9th at the City Hall, so I mean, I think it'd be a great thing for the celebration committee to kind of bring it to their attention and work with them on it, so.
All right. What time, March 9th?
6:30.
6:30. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Kevin.
No other open forum requests. Upcoming meetings, EDA Tuesday, February 21st, 12 p.m., City Hall. Planning and Zoning, Wednesday, March 8th, 7 p.m., Montrose Community Center. Park and Rec, March 9th, 6:30, Montrose City Hall. And the next City Council meeting is March 13th, 7 p.m. at the Community Center. Acknowledgements.
I'd like to acknowledge not only Willie, but also Joan Bauernschmidt. Those are 2 people of this community that, if we could replicate them, this would be a wonderful place to live. So thank you for your 51 years. Thank you, Joan, for lending them out for 51 years. We're sorry that you're stuck with them now. You can still send them up every Tuesday, though. We'll take them in. But I just want to acknowledge that and thank them for everything.
Yes, thank you.
I was going to say thanks to the fire department guys for putting on the great dinner. So, I mean, you had a huge turnout, so that shows just how good you guys did. And then the community members and other firefighter associations that showed up, what'd you say, 443 meals served?
Something like that, yeah. Some didn't showed up. Some didn't get potatoes.
I know, wish we had enough potatoes to go around, right? Next time you'll learn. Any other acknowledgements?
I'd also like to acknowledge the Montrose Lions for the breakfast yesterday. It's a great time.
The only thing that I'll add is just a reminder with the potential upcoming snow, please shovel out your fire hydrants just in case there's an emergency. So please shovel those out when it snows. With nothing else,
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Solars? Aye. I'll vote aye. Motion passes 4-0. We're adjourned.